Hello, so back for another video. Right, so this is the first video of what I'm going to do, a very short weekly maintenance vlog on the tank basically. So this is Monday when I do my water change. So I've got my 300 litres of water mixed up to temperature ready to go into the main display. I actually looked back just out of interest to see how long the tank had been up. Surprised myself. So this is week 143. So the water went in and I mixed the salt in the tank on, I think it was the 21st of April 2021. So just cracking on over 2.5 years. So it's taken me that long to get my full complement of fish in the tank. So I thought I would just make a short video each week before I do my water change, just to run through just what's happened in the week really. They could be very short videos if nothing's happened or, I mean, it's very rare. Most weeks something happens. So let me just run through. For example, this week I have finished my air dryer for my ozone unit. So I basically converted my old RO system that I used to have on my reefer 750, and I took the three pre-filters that you get in like the chain, I don't know what they're called, the pods. I took the filters out, obviously, I've dried it all out, and I've filled them with 3 kilos of silica beads. So the pump that drives the ozone unit goes into one end, it goes through the 3 kilos of silicon beads and then into the ozone, so it dries the air. I think it's going to last a long time because the first chamber I've been using probably 3 weeks, and only the first probably 15 mils of beads has changed colour. So they go from like an orange to a sort of greeny blue colour. And you can also I don't know what the word is, I can't think of the word, I've gone blank, like replenish. So you can dry them back out, basically. You can put them either in the microwave or the oven. So when the first chamber goes completely green, I can take them out, put them in the microwave 15 minutes, whatever it is, and then it'll be good to go back. So that should last a long time. So that's that, so that's done, that's all screwed on the wall and mounted, so hopefully I won't have to think about that. The other thing is, I came out last Thursday morning and I checked the apex like I do most days, just to check the parameters are, you know, all looking good. And I noticed that my alkalinity had bumped up by 0.5, and I was like, that's weird. So you do your normal, you know, I checked I'm dosing sodium hydroxide still, that was fine. I checked the calc stirrer, that was fine. And then I noticed that the bubble counter on my calcium reactor was on in the morning when it shouldn't have been. So I was like, oh, okay. So this solenoid, which switches the CO2 on and off, is on one of those electric timer plugs. So I looked at the app, and the app told me it was off. So I turned it off at the actual switch, and it made no difference. I could hear the solenoid switching and make a kind of clicking noise, but it wasn't shutting the CO2 off. So the CO2 was just constantly bubbling, and probably had been for a lot of the night, I guess. So I'd imagine it got wet, even though I've got non-return valves on the CO2 line from the reactor. I guess maybe that had failed. So this is the dead solenoid. They're not too bad actually to buy. I went to my local LFS H2O, they have one in stock. It's like £40 or something, so not too painful. So the new one's fitted. I've actually moved it. I had it under the calcium reactor, like the CO2 was on the floor and the solenoid was below the calcium reactor. So I've moved it up, so it's now on top of the calcium reactor, and the CO2 bottle's on the same level as the calcium reactor. Because in my head, I'm just thinking there's less of a gravity pull for the water to get into the solenoid. I mean, it is pressurised anyway, the calcium reactor, and the water has to get pushed up and out of it. So it may do absolutely nothing, but I just thought it gets it off the floor anyway. I was worried that I could kick the bottle over at some point as well. So that's that. So yeah, so that was the solenoid that broke. The other thing that happened was yesterday morning I came out, checked the apex again. I noticed that some of the lights didn't look right, as in the intensities didn't look right and the spectrum didn't look right. And when I checked the Apex app, it's the MXN module, which I've got fixed up on my beams in the roof there. Said the module was missing, and none of the lights and the Ecotech Vortex pumps were connected. They all just showed as missing. So I've got no idea. I mean, that's worked since I've installed it, and it's been pretty faultless to be honest, that MXN module. But I don't know, sometime in the night it just dropped off. So I had to unplug because they don't have their own power supply. They've only got an Aquabus cable. So I unplugged the Aquabus and plugged it back in again. Still didn't connect. Rebooted Apex, still didn't connect. I swapped the socket because it's got 2 USB ports in it. So I just put it in the other USB port, and then I changed the other end into another port, and then it just came back online, and everything's been fine since. But I don't like things which just have no explanation of why they stopped working. I mean, it's worked fine for months, and then you go to bed, working fine, wake up in the morning, just dropped off. All the other modules are fine. So you just think, well, what caused that? There's no error log or anything, so it's very difficult to get to the bottom of things like that. No, it's just annoying. It's a bit like the solenoid, because I was actually thinking that solenoid, the only way I could turn the CO2 off was by physically turning it off at the bottle, because obviously the power to the solenoid was making no difference at all. Those things are fine when you're here and you come in and you sort it, but you know, if that happened day one of a 2-week holiday, one, you probably wouldn't catch it because you're not going to be staring at your phone all the time, checking your parameters while you're away. And then you've got to try and get someone here and explain to them how to turn off the CO2 and shut the reactor down. And, yeah, so I don't like, and I can't actually think of a way, maybe someone else can, that I would, you know, if the solenoid sticks to on and you can't remote power off the solenoid, you know, if you're not here, I don't know, I can't think of a way that I can make another level of redundancy in there for that, should it happen again, of how to turn the gas off, unless I just run 2 solenoids, I suppose. I suppose you could put them in sequence. Yeah, I suppose that's possible. But anyway, yeah, if anyone's got a bright idea of an easy way to get around that problem, let me know. Yeah, so what else? Oh yeah, and the other thing I started this week, is I am dosing these, which are called NP Bacto pellets. So I imagine NP's for nitrites and phosphates, is it? Nitrates and phosphates, sorry. Yeah, so these are just beads that you put in a reactor. You put them in boiling water for 2 hours and then put them in a fluidized reactor. And they're just like, it's just polymers which bacteria can feed on. And the idea is you get a big colony of bacteria which then eat all nitrates and phosphates. So I'm using it in conjunction with the liquid Bacto balance. So the idea is, I like the idea of pellets. This is my thinking behind it, right? Bear with me. So the idea is, I've put probably, there's 1,000 ml in that container, so I've probably put 600 ml in a reactor, which is hugely undersized for the tank. But I don't want to bottom anything out, so I'd rather just go really slowly. So they last for ages, because I've used them before, so they take a long time before you have to replenish them. So that's kind of a low maintenance approach for me. So I thought, if I can get them to do the donkey work and keep my nitrates at 20, for example, and then I can just tweak it with the Bacto balance. So if they start to rise, in between the time it takes for the new pellets to settle in and the bacteria to grow again, I can just tweak it by dosing a touch more Bacto Balance. Because it's very easy just to go on your phone and go, I'll add another 2 ml Bacto Balance on my doser for this week, and then add some more pellets when I've got them. And it just gives me that finer adjustment, because the pellets are quite a brutal kind of tool really. They're very, I think they're quite hard to get to keep the levels perfect. So I just thought I'd get them to do the donkey work, and I'd use the Bacto Balance just to refine it a bit. I'll see it works, might not work, I don't know. I might be able to do all the pellets, I don't know, I'll see. So yeah, so I'll put them in this week. I think I put too many in the reactor, to be honest, because I'm having a trouble to keep them all flowing nicely. I'll get them flowing nicely, and then when I come back about 4 hours later, the whole lot of pellets is like chugged up the top of the reactor and not moving at all, and there's a big gap down the bottom, so I have to turn it off, push them all back down. So I've got a bigger reactor, I've got a Deltec one, but the reason I've got the small, I think it's a litre Royal exclusive one, is I really like them because they're like super simple. So the water goes in at the bottom, and it gets pushed up and goes back down and out. At the top, you can just unscrew it. So I can just shut the valve off, unscrew the top, put some more pellets in, screw the top. I don't have to take the reactor out, I don't have to do anything. It's just unscrew the top, put them in, screw it back on, job done. The Deltec one, I got those big bayonet tops on them, and all the pipe work goes in the top as well, so it's a proper faff. So I don't like it really, which is why it's sat under there not being used, but it's about 3 times the size of the other one, so I may have to, I mean, I keep saying I'll just buy a bigger Royal exclusive one, and maybe I will at some point. So yeah, so that's it. So this is basically, this is week 143, maintenance on the tank. All the fish are in now, so 2.5 years to get my full complement of fish. Very happy with all the fish really. I've got some really nice fish in there. I've got all the fish really, I mean, other than stupid fish that, you know, wouldn't go in there anyway. I've got all the fish I wanted, and I've got some fish that weren't really on my radar, like the little, the swallowtail angelfish. I'm really enjoying. I really like them. I've never really been into angelfish, but yeah, they're nice. I like them because they swim at the sort of mid to top part of the tank most of the time. They take a lot of food off the surface of the water, which is quite good, because the tangs don't tend to do that. So the fish are really good. So that's it for that. So it's just really, this year is just concentrating on the corals, getting some decent growth. I'm still waiting for Pantaray to get back to me regarding some new pumps, but I'm in no rush at all really for that. I mean, I put the 2 Pantarays, the small ones, the 42s, down that end, so they're working a treat. I just want a bit more, in the middle section of the tank, I want a bit more surface agitation, because I've got MP40s on the back, but they're not. Trouble with MP40s and MP60s, you're limited to how high you can go, because they start sucking in air, and that's super annoying. But the height, and you can't angle them either, can you? So the Hydra 42s, which I'd like on the back, I can kind of point up to the surface. Anyway, they haven't got back to me yet. There's none in stock, so I'll probably have to wait for them to do a run, and then I need the UK plug on it as well. So I don't think I'll be getting them anytime soon. Right, so that is the plan. On a Monday, I'll make a very short video of what I've done for the week. The shorter the video is, the better my week will have been, because nothing's gone wrong, and all I go is, I bought that coral, I bought that coral. So the other thing I've done is I put the gold hammer, which is downstairs, in my kind of dump tank, as I call it. I've brought it up and put it down the end of the tank, because I couldn't really see it down there. I can't look over the top of the tank downstairs because the ceiling's too close. So I wasn't really doing it justice. So what I've actually done is I swapped the gorgonian, which was down there, it was doing all right, but it wasn't really happy. It was getting a bit hammered in the flow. Trouble is, as it was growing, it was kind of coming out of the protected area of the rock, and then it was getting hammered by the MP60 that's down there and getting whipped round, and the end of it kept fraying and breaking off. So I put that down. It looks a lot happier down in the tank downstairs because the flow is much less, and I brought the hammer up. So I've got two hammers down in there. I've got a bright toxic green one and the gold one. If I can be bothered, I'll just insert a little bit of video just to show what they are. And then down here I've got a little frag which is called a Tutti Frutti, I think it's called, which I've got from AAC, which is a shop in the UK which sells very nice corals. They sell very nice fish as well. Yeah, so I guess if you were slightly cynical, you say it's brown, but us SBS people will go, well, I guess that's a kind of, what do you call that, burnt orange, I guess? Yeah. Yeah, so that's it basically. So everything in the tank is looking pretty good. The fish are looking fat. Yeah, so I just thought, in between the other videos that I make, which I won't make that regularly, I just thought each week, so next one will be week 144, I'll just go through what's happened in the week and what I'm up to. I'd imagine they would be quite short videos. I don't know how long I've been chatting. I've got a bad habit of just going off point, but anyway. Yeah, so that's it. So I will see you at the very latest next week for week 144. And I think that is it.